What's up, man? USCJ here. It's the top of the morning. Listen, I hope everybody is getting ready to get up, get out, and make some things happen this morning. Listen, we got to talk about the Big Ten. The Big Ten. We know the Big Ten move is not until next year, but look, it's the off season. We're gonna talk about it. There's quite a few things I continue to hear as it relates to the Big Ten move and why USC some think will be fourth or some think will be fifth in the conference. And then I heard even talked about recruiting, how some think we'll do about fifth or come up fifth in recruiting or fourth in recruiting. And my thing is this: when you look at the history of the Big Ten and when you look at the history of the Pac-12, well, let's not even say the Pac-12. Let's just say look at the history of USC and the history of the Big Ten and look at the record against these teams. USC historically has defeated them and has been dominant against the Big Ten. I got receipts that we can look at this. We can take a look and see exactly where USC stands. Yes, they got some great schools. You got Ohio State, Michigan, but historically, even with those teams, USC has dominated those teams. They come out on the winning record as it relates to playing those teams head-to-head matchups. So we want to take a look at that. We want to see exactly where USC falls. What are going to be the expectations? You guys already know. Every year we play them. You guys can't forget we went to Ohio State. Matt Barkley, remember Stephon Johnson, Joe McKnight, all these big-time guys went down there and absolutely just destroyed them. And in the year, they end up playing us as well. So, look, we're going to take a look at some of this stuff. We're going to see where USC stacks up as it relates to the Big Ten. And we really understand that, look, USC fans, don't get lost in the sauce listening to these outsiders saying that USC is going to get dominated. USC history is legit. We'll talk about it. Let's see exactly where USC stands historically with the Big Ten. Let's go. Against the Big Ten, they have a tremendous record, absolutely been dominated against the Big Ten. The first team in the Big Ten that USC has dominated in the series, USC leads 11-2 against Illinois. Illinois would be the first team that we'll talk about. USC, last time, most recent game will be against Illinois in the 2008 Rose Bowl. USC won that game 49-17. This is one of the first teams that we have right now when we're talking about USC against the Big Ten. USC versus Indiana. USC leads this series 4-0. The most recent game was we haven't played them since 1982. Beat them 28-7 in the Coliseum, and that was a while back. Wow, 1980 and that was actually USC tailback at the time. The biggest game between them two was in 1968. It was the 1968 Rose Bowl, and USC tailback was O.J. Simpson, believe it or not. Wow, and he rushed for 2 touchdowns. That was incredible. So USC, last time, most recent, 1982, played in the Coliseum, 28-7 win over Indiana. Next team is going to be Iowa. USC leads this series 7-3. Most recent one was 39-24. And what you guys remember, that wasn't too long ago, 2019, we lost in the Holiday Bowl. But we do lead that series 7-3 against Iowa. USC against Michigan. Michigan's going to be the next team. USC leads that series 6-4. 6 games to 4. We lead that series. And the most recent game we played, we beat them 32-18 in the 2007 Rose Bowl. USC has pretty much dominated Michigan. And so look, you guys already know, man, I just want to keep this fresh in everybody's memory because a lot of people don't realize the success that USC's had against these Big Ten teams. Most people think, oh, USC's going to the Big Ten, they're going to get... No, this is not going to happen. USC's going to come in there and we're going to play the game and we're going to dominate. And I think we're recruiting right now and we're structuring ourselves in a way that USC is going to be able to compete with the Big Ten. The next one's going to be Michigan State. Michigan State, USC. This series is tied 4-4. With the most recent one game was 1990. It was the Hancock Bowl. USC beats Michigan State 17-16. 1990 Hancock Bowl. So Michigan State is tied with us as it relates to USC with the Big Ten head-to-head matchup. Next one's going to be Minnesota. The Golden Gophers. USC leads this series 6-1 in one tie. 6-1 in the tie. So look, that is in the most recent one, USC actually swept them in a home-and-home series in 2010 and 2011. I don't know if you guys remember that or not, but USC did defeat them 2 years in a row, in 2010 and 2011. The next one is going to be Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska, USC leads that series 3-0 in one tie. The most recent one was USC beat them 45-42 in the Holiday Bowl, and that was in 2014. Of course, you guys know Clay Helton was still there doing that win. I remember that game very clearly. So USC with Nebraska, they have success and they're dominating that series as well when you're talking about Big Ten head-to-head matchup. Next one is going to be Northwestern. USC leads this series 5-0 as well. They're coming out on the big-time winning edge on this one as well. With the most recent one, USC beat Northwestern 41-32 in the 1996 Rose Bowl game. And that's the game, I believe, that Keyshawn Johnson went absolutely crazy, where he had like 216 receiving yards on 12 catches. So it was an incredible game. But USC comes out on the winning edge as it relates to head-to-head matchup with them as well. The next one is Ohio State. Out of all the teams in the Big Ten, USC has played Ohio State the most out of all the Big Tens and 10 teams, and I believe Michigan comes second. But Ohio State is USC leads the series 13 wins, 10 losses, and then 1 tie. So USC leads that series 13-10-1 with the most recent victory, which is Ohio State versus USC 24-7 in 2017, which was absolutely. And looking back at that game, I'm telling you, Sam Donald was there, and I can remember specifically, we could have won that game. A lot of drop balls, a lot of missed calls. I mean, it was 24-17, and that was a gut-wrenching. I mean, one of the weirdest losses of all time. But that Ohio State and USC has a great rivalry, and I think USC, this thing is going to be restored once we come back next year to the Big Ten. Next one, we're going to have Penn State. Penn State is USC leads the series 6-4 with the most recent win. USC beat Penn State in a thriller 52-49 in the 2017 Rose Bowl. You guys know that was probably one of the best games I've ever seen in my life. That along with the Texas game that they stole from us in the national championship. Vince Young knee was down, but that's a whole nother story. Those two games were like one of the two best games I've ever seen in my life. And but Penn State, we lead this series 6-4, and USC the last time we played them was in that thriller game, 52-49. It's great history. Penn State is a great program, but USC dominates that series as well. USC versus Purdue. Last time we played this series was 1998 in the Pigskin Classic at the Coliseum. USC beat Purdue 27-17 in 1998. USC leads this series as well, 3-1. USC leads this series. So USC is coming on top on most of these Big Ten teams, and I think USC fans should really understand that they have a lot to be proud about when you're talking about USC. And one note, USC has never played Rutgers and have never played Maryland, those two teams that are in the Big Ten. for those who weren't sure about that. And the last one we're gonna have Wisconsin. USC leads this series as well, 6-1, 6 wins to 1. Most recent game was Wisconsin beat USC. That was in 2015. Clay Helton was there as well in the Holiday Bowl. You guys remember that? Should have won that game. We lost that game 23-21 in 2015. That was a gut-wrenching loss. And but USC leads the series 6-1. And as I stated before, the last two teams, Rutgers and Maryland, USC has never played against. And so just wanted to give you guys this information. USC dominates this series, dominated the Big Ten as well. And look, I think all USC fans, all the fans that were, I guess, somewhat listening to the media and kind of concerned about where we stand in the Big Ten, how will we fare in the Big Ten, I think USC would be very successful going into the Big Ten. See where USC stands at? You see it's only popping, it's only cracking. Listen, Trojan fans, Trojan family, listen, no need at all to really trip. No need to trip about where we're going at in the Big Ten. I think USC is gonna dominate once we get there. Yes, I said it. I'm not even gonna say that we're gonna compete. We are gonna dominate. And the way right now Lincoln Riley is recruiting, the way he's moving and grooving, how he's recruiting. And I even heard somebody address this. Many people, there are not many people that are addressing this, but then there are some that recognize that the change of trajectory, when you're talking about how Lincoln Riley is recruiting, the style of player he's recruiting, how physical of a player he's recruiting. And some people recognize, and I heard one analyst say it the other day, he said it just seems like, and I mentioned this a while back when I talked about how we're recruiting right now, I can tell there's a difference. It's like you know how like some people show like the world changing real slow. It's like a slow motion type of deal. It's changing and it's happening right in front of our eyes. And some people are lost in the sauce, don't even recognize that USC's recruiting style is essentially changing. You look at some of these big backs like Brian Jackson, guys like that. We recruiting big time defensive linemen. Look, it is only popping, it's only cracking. And I heard one analyst say that the way USC is recruiting right now, they're recruiting for the Big Ten, and he's absolutely right. And so we want to recruit all across the board. You got guys like Deuce Robinson, you got guys like Jacoby Lane. These are big body guys that we're gonna match up physical, and then we still got the finesse. We still got Zach Branch, who's he's just gonna be a freak. I don't care what league he plays in, but we got guys that are gonna match up. We got guys that are gonna move and groove, and we got guys that for the future, Elijah Hughes, guys like that, even Sam Green, and then we're able to pull from guys from that region that understands that brand of football, man. So look, you guys hit me in the comment section. You guys tell me what you think. Listen, USC history against the Big Ten is legit. It's real, and there's nothing they can do about it. You can't turn history back and turn the success that USC has had. Look, you guys hit me in the comment section. You guys tell me what you think. You guys already know. Like, share, subscribe. It's going to be USCJ32 on Instagram, USCJ32 on Twitter. Listen, don't forget, make sure you get up, get out, and make some things happen. Until later on, fight on, fight on, fight on.